Sitaram, and a pleasant good evening to each and everyone. Welcome to our Connecting Through Bhajans this evening. This evening, we would like to dedicate our session to the Balgobin family on the passing of the father of the home, Uncle Hans. So at this point, I would like to invite Auntie Chance to do our opening prayer, followed by our bhajan. Thank you.
Namaste, everyone. Today is indeed a very sad day. We've lost a very dear friend, someone who has served selflessly in the mandir, someone noted for his jovial and witty nature, always generous, always able to diffuse a situation with a joke. He will certainly be dearly missed by all of us. Tonight, as we come together, we pray for his soul, that his Atman will go back to the Lord. We also pray for the entire family, for God's grace, that they will get that strength. Death is all around us, and somehow we never think about that moment. So as we compose ourselves, let us join. This prayer is taken from the Ishopanishad. Ishawasyam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat chena jaktena bhunjita magrudha kasya vidhanam manmana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru Mami Veshyasi Satyam Che Pratikyane Priyoshi Me. Second one, of course, is from the Bhagavad Gita. Om Sachitananda Rupaya Vishwapatyari Hetave Tapatray Vinashaya Shri Krishna Vayam Numaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. As is customary, during death, what we do is that we appeal only to the Purna Avatara, the ultimate, Lord Krishna. This is why they recommend that you sing only bhajans and chants and so on, because this is Ishvara, and this is who we need to appeal to. Avo, avo, Nandalala. Avo, avo, Nandalala. Sundari Shyama Gopala, Sundari Sai Gopala, Avo, avo, Nandalala. Tumhi o bansi dhari Shyama, Tumhi o bansi dhari Shyama, Ayodhyapati Sita Rama, Parti Papa Karunanita, Makhan Chora Yashoda Bala, Makhan Chora Yashoda Bala. Avo, avo, Nandalala, Sundari Shyama. राम गोपाला सुंदर साई गोपाला आवो आवो नंदलाला तुम ही हो बंसीधारी श्यामा अयोध्यापति सीतारामा परटी बाबा करुणानीता माखन चोरा यशोद बाला माखन चोरा यशोद बाला आवो आवो नंदलाला. Lord Krishna and Swami, the Purna avatars, the embodiment of absolute compassion. So let us all, with great love, devotion, and sincerity, focus our thoughts and our love on the Lord, asking, please, to bless the soul of Hans. Namaste.
Thank you, Auntie Chansey. Now I'd like to invite Auntie Indra to do a bhajan or kirtan for us, followed by Sanya, my mom, and Mrs. Ramdat. Thank you.
Sitaram, everyone, and my sympathy to the family. कोई ना ले जाए धन बान के गठरिया कोई ना ले जाए धन बान की गठरिया 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 कोई ना ले जाए धन बान के गठरिया जब यमराज पलंग पर बैठे जब यमराज पलंग पर बैठे उलट गई दिनों नैन पतरिया उलट गई दिनों नैन पतरिया कोई ना ले जाए धन बान के गठरिया मर ही सोते प्राण निकाली मर ही सोते प्राण निकाली प्राण लिखाए कोतरिया कोतरिया प्राण लिखाए कोतरिया कोतरिया कोई ना ले जाए धन बान के गठरिया ओ कोई ना ले जाए धन बान के गठरिया चहरे पहर मिले कथा उठावे चारे पहर मिले कथा उठावे फूक दिया जैसे बन के लकड़िया फूक दिया जैसे बन के लकड़िया कोई ना ले जाए धन बान के गठरिया कहत कबीर सुनो भय साधु कहत कबीर सुनो भय साधु छूट गई सब महल उतरिया छूट गई सब महल उतरिया कोई न ले जाए धन बान के गठरिया बान के गठरिया ओ बान के गठरिया बान के गठरिया ओ बान के गठरिया, कोई न ले जाए है बन मान के गठरिया, ओ कोई न ले जाए है धन मान के गठरिया, कोई न ले जाए है धन मान के गठरिया. Sitaram. Thank you.
We are very sad to hear the news about Uncle Hans, and he will dearly be missed. कृष्ण जिनका नाम है, गोकुल जिनका दाम है, ऐसे श्री भगवान को, ऐसे श्री भगवान को बारंबार प्रणाम है, बारंबार प्रणाम है. कृष्ण जिनका नाम है, गोकुल जिनका दाम है, ऐसे श्री भगवान को, ऐसे श्री भगवान को बारंबार प्रणाम है, बारंबार प्रणाम है. कृष्ण जिनका नाम है, गोकुल जिनका दाम है, यशोदा जिनकी मैया है, नंद जी बापैया है, ऐसे श्री गोपाल को, ऐसे श्री गोपाल को बारंबार प्रणाम है, बारंबार प्रणाम है. कृष्ण जिनका नाम है, गोकुल जिनका दाम है, ऐसे श्री भगवान को, ऐसे श्री भगवान को बारंबार प्रणाम है, बारंबार प्रणाम है. लूट लूट जब माखन खायो, पाल बाल संग दीनु चरायो, ऐसे लीला दाम हो, ऐसे लीला दाम हो बारंबार प्रणाम है, बारंबार प्रणाम है. कृष्ण जिनका नाम है, गोकुल जिनका दाम है, ऐसे श्री भगवान को, ऐसे श्री भगवान को बारंबार प्रणाम है, बारंबार प्रणाम है. द्रुपद सुता को लाज बचायो, रहस्य गज को पंद चरायो, ऐसे कृपा दाम हो, ऐसे कृपा दाम हो बारंबार प्रणाम है, बारंबार प्रणाम है, बारंबार प्रणाम है, बारंबार प्रणाम है. सीताराम.
Sitaram, everyone. Once again, death has struck one of our loved devotees of the Spring Village Mandir. His passing reminds us how fickle life really is. We never know when is our last breath, when is our last moment with our loved ones. Please let us use this to be a better member of your family, to be a better member in the community, to be a better member in the mandir. Let us remember what we would like to have remembered about us when we are not there. I can only share with you on Sunday, I had a special moment, some special moments with Mr. B, laughing and talking and joking with him at the food festival. So my last memory of him will be just that. So again, don't take life for granted. Let us give it the best that we have to offer. वृंदावन का कृष्ण कन्हैया सबकी आँखों का तारा, वृंदावन का कृष्ण कन्हैया सबकी आँखों का तारा, मन ही मन क्यों जले राधिका, मोहन तो है सबका प्यारा, वृंदावन का कृष्ण कन्हैया। जमुना तट पर नंद कलाला, जब जब रास रचाए रे, तन मन डोले राधा से, बंसी मधुर बजाए रे, सुध बुध खोले करी गोपिया, जाने कैसा जादू डाला, वृंदावन का कृष्ण कन्हैया सबकी आँखों का तारा, मन ही मन क्यों जले राधिका, मोहन तो है सबका प्यारा, वृंदावन का कृष्ण कन्हैया। रंग सलोना ऐसा जैसे चाही हो खत सावन की, तेरी मैं तू हुई दीवानी, मनमोहन मन भावन की, तेरे कारण देख भावरे, छोड़ दिया मैंने जग सारा, वृंदावन का कृष्ण कन्हैया सबकी आँखों का तारा, मन ही मन क्यों जले राधिका, मन ही मन क्यों जले राधिका, मोहन तो है सबका प्यारा, वृंदावन का कृष्ण कन्हैया। Our deepest condolence to the Bhagavan family from the Spring Village Mandir family. Thank you.
Mrs. Ramda, can you go next, followed by Auntie Chansey and Auntie Indra? Thank you.
I'm sorry. Jai Sitaram, everyone. अब शिवा पार करो मोरे नैया, अब शिवा पार करो मोरे नैया, ओ अब शिवा पार करो मोरे नैया, अवघात घात अघात महाजल, अवघात घात अघात महाजल, पाली लगम खेवैया ओ बाली लगम खेवैया अब शिव पार करो मोरे नैया अब शिव पार करो मोरे नैया हो अब शिव पार करो मोरे नैया बारी बरोबर बारी रहियो है बारी बरोबर बारी रहियो है था पर अति पुरवैया ओ था पर अति पुरवैया अब शिव पार करो मोरे नैया हो अब शिव पार करो मोरे नैया थारत थारत कांपथियो मेरो थारत थारत कांपथियो मेरो शिव के देत दुहैया शिव के देत दुहैया अब शिव पार करो मोरे नैया अब शिव पार करो मोरे नैया हो अब शिव पार करो मोरे नैया देवी सहाय प्रभात पुकारत देवी सहाय प्रभात पुकारत शिव पितु गिरिजा मैया और शिव पितु गिरिजा मैया अब शिव पार करो मोरे नैया अब शिव पार करो मोरे नैया हो अब शिव पार करो मोरे नैया हो अब शिव पार करो मोरे नैया जय सीताराम
Namaste again. Before I do my song, today we will not be doing catechism. Devin will be doing a discourse, but I will just share one thing with you that to me epitomizes hands. It's taken from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3 on Karma Yoga. And the question is, what is it that befits a noble life? Exactly what? And it is answered. When someone is doing more for the public good than for their personal benefit, this is a symbol of a noble life. This is an example of a noble life. A righteous man who gives more than he receives. And everybody who knows Hans would know this is the type of person he was. He was exceedingly generous and kind. And you know, it is very important because we talk about how we grow in spirituality, and this is exactly what we aspire to become like, to do this. And it takes constant practice, but for all of us, we would know this is the type of human being he was. He was always ready to help in whatever way he could. And this is another reason why he will be sorely missed. Jagatodhara Gokulapala जन पाला परटि विहारा साई गिरधारी हे नंदलाला गिरधारी हे नंदलाला यशोदा की पाला त्रिभुवन पाला यशोदा की पाला त्रिभुवन पाला जगदोधारा गोकुल बाला मुरली लोला मुनि जन पाला परटि विहारा साई गोपाला परटि विहारा साई गोपाला गिरधारी हे नंदलाला यशोदा की पाला त्रिभुवन पाला यशोदा की पाला त्रिभुवन पाला जगदोधारा गोकुल बाला मुरली लोला मुनि जन पाला परटि विहारा साई गोपाला परटि विहारा साई गोपाला गिरधारी हे नंदलाला. Namaste everyone.
सूर्य की घटी में क्या जानू एक भजन करना जानू सूर्य की घटी में क्या जानू एक भजन करना जानू अलग भजन का भी अति गहरा उसको भी मैं क्या जानू अलग भजन का भी अति गहरा उसको भी मैं क्या जानू प्रभु 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 कर ना जानू प्रभु 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 कर ना जानू नैना जल बर ना जानू नैना जल बर ना जानू सुर की गति में क्या जानू एक भजन कर ना जानू गुण गाए गुण गाए प्रभु नैन चोरा फिर क्यों तुम गुण गाते हैं मैं भोला मैं प्रेम दीवानी इतनी बात में क्या जानू प्रभु 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 कर ना जानू प्रभु 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 कर ना जानू नैना जल बड़ ना जानू सुर की गति में क्या जानू एक भजन कर ना जानू, एक भजन कर ना जानू, एक भजन कर ना जानू. Sitaram again.
Thank you all very much. So Auntie Mala, can you do the next bhajan for us, please? And then we will have our Gita Dhyanam and Uncle Devin's discourse. Thank you.
Sitaram. Vidhi ka vidam atala hai, vidhi ka vidam atala hai, chal hi chale Panchali sang pancho pan देखो वन को चले कभी न मिटई कर्म की रेखा हमने हर युग में ये देखा जो ललाट को लेख लिखा है वो न कभी बदले पांचाली संग पांचों पांडव देखो वन को चले घर को छोड़ चले सब भ्राता पीछे रह गई रोती माता कांटों पर चढ़ रहे हैं वो जो महलों में थे पले पांचाली संग पांचों पांडव देखो वन को चले घर को छोड़ चले सब भ्राता पीछे रह गए रोती माता कांटों पर चढ़ रहे हैं वो जो महलों में थे पले पांचाली संग पांचों पांडव देखो वन को चले कभी न मिटे कर्म की रेखा हमने हर युग में ये देखा जो ललाट को लेख लिखा है वो न कभी बदले पांचाली संग पांचों पांडव देखो वन को चले विधि का विधान अतल हरे भाई सीताराम
Thank you, Auntie Mala. So now I would like to ask Auntie Chance if she can do our Gita Dhyanam.
Lead us.
Thank you.
Namaste again, everyone. So we are going to join together to do this before Devin begins his message. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitaamritavarshini Bhagavati Ashtadashadyayini Ambatvamanusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavattveshini Namostute Vyasa Vishal Buddhe
कुलारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दुग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्ससुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धां गीतमृतं महत्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरो। भीष्माद्रोण तथा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोपला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरनदी कैवर्तका केशवा पारशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्धगन्धोकतं नानाज्ञानककेशरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितं लोके सज्जन षट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयात् भारत पंकजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसिनं श्रेयसे। मोकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः शृण्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानवष्टिततर्कटेन मनसः पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणा। देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Thank you, Auntie Chansey. So at this point, I would like to pass over to Uncle David for our discourse tonight. Thank you.
Sitaram, everyone. Permit me to keep my camera off. I am actually on the road. I'm not driving though. I have a driver. So I'm not driving. But the car is dark, so you won't be able to see me in any case. So permit me to keep my camera off. So this evening's satsang is dedicated.
David, we can barely hear you.
Oh, okay, hold on. See if I can get that. Right, are you hearing me better now? Hello?
A little bit.
Okay. I need to speak a little louder then. Right, so this evening's satsang is dedicated to the Balgobin family. Sinti and Dale and Dari and Dina and the extended family, of course. We all were very shocked this afternoon to hear of the passing of Hans, Mr. B. We all saw him on Sunday at the mandir, vibrant as usual, and it reminds us that our scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, teaches us that life is very, very fickle. At any moment in time, it can be snatched away. We would have heard many, many discourses about that drop of water at the tip of a leaf that could fall at any moment in time. Bhajagovindam teaches us all of these things. Mr. B, or Hans, as we all fondly called him, lived his life through the scriptures. He was dedicated to his scriptures. And tonight I am going to do a few verses from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2. And the first verse is verse number 11, where Bhagavansi Krishna is speaking to Arjuna. And of course, we all know that when Bhagavan Sri Krishna speaks to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, he speaks to us. His messages are for us to follow the teachings and live our lives to the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. So chapter 11 goes, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Ashochanan Ashochastvam Prajnavadamscha Bhashase Gata Sunna Gata Sunscha Nanushochanti Panditaha. So Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, O Arjuna, while you speak words of wisdom, you are mourning for that which is not worthy of grief. You are mourning for something or someone that is not worthy of that. And he goes on to say that the wise laments neither for the living, neither for the dead. So Bhagavan Sri Krishna initiates his discourse with this opening statement that Arjuna is lamenting, or he's feeling sorry for valid reasons to himself. These reasons are valid for himself. But Bhagavan is telling him, rather than worry about that, you should not be worried about. Because death, my dear friends, is inevitable. And this is what Bhagavan Sri Krishna is saying here. Sri Krishna takes the wind out of his arguments when he speaks to Arjuna. And he says, though you may feel that you are speaking words of wisdom, you are actually acting out of ignorance. And there is no possible reason that could justify your lamenting over the situation. And he said, the wise laments neither for the living, neither for the dead. He said you need to visualize the Atma and know that the Atma, or the soul, doesn't die. And these are some of the things that we all know, because we would have listened to discourses, we would have read Bhagavad Gita, we would have chanted. But yet still, when that time reaches, and when death occurs in our homes, when we lose our loved ones, it hurts because of the attachment that we have. And this is what Arjuna is going through here. Arjuna knows that when he goes into battle with his cousins, because of his might, because of his strength, because of his training, he knows that he is going to destroy all of them. And he is worried. But Bhagavan is telling him, do not grieve for that which should not be grieved for. In the next verse, chapter 12, verse 12, he says, Natveham, natvevaham jatu nasam, natvam neme janadipaha. Nachaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayatamaha param. And he says, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor any of those kings or princes on the other side. And, O Arjuna, nor in the future shall any of them cease to be. They were here before, you and I were here before, you and I are here now, and in the future, we shall be here again. This is what Bhagavan is saying. All of us were here before, and all of us will come back again. And this cycle is gonna continue until we would have worked out our karma and attain moksha or liberation. Bhagavan says, Arjuna, do not worry. It says here, on the gate of the temple of Apollo at Delphi, inscribed the words Noti Setum, which means know thyself. Now, Socrates, the wise old man of Athens, was fond of encouraging people to inquire about the nature of the self. And Socrates was walking on the street one day, absorbed in deep.
I touch it up now.
And he accidentally bumped into right. So Socrates answered with amusement, my dear fellow, I've been pondering over that question for the last 40 years. If you ever come to know who I am, please let me know. Now, in the Vedic tradition, when divine knowledge is imparted, it usually begins with knowledge of the self, and Sri Krishna follows the same approach in the Bhagavad Gita, with a piece of information that would have swept Socrates off his feet. So Sri Krishna begins by explaining that the entity that we call the self is really the soul, not the material body. And the soul, my dear friends, is eternal. Just as God himself is eternal, the soul too is eternal. And the soul never dies. The soul continues to live on. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tata dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namuhyate. It says, just as the embodied soul continuously passes from childhood to youth to old age, similarly, at the time of death, the soul passes into another body. But the wise men, those who are wise, are not deluded by this. They are not bothered by this. It doesn't bother them. When we have a piece of old clothing, does it bother us when we have to discard that and get a new one? Maybe sometimes, if we are attached to it. But in reality, when it's old and torn, we have to get rid of it and get a new outfit, get a new shirt, a new pants, a new dress, whatever it is. So too, the soul, after, now I'm not going to say when the body is older, because we all know nowadays things have changed. We need to understand that it's not when the body gets old anymore. It's when your time has expired on earth. We all have a specific time that we are supposed to be here for. And if you read the Garud Puran, you would understand what I'm speaking about. Inscribed on everyone's forehead is the date and the time of expire. You know, we say, this might sound like a joke, but everything has an expiry date, right? We too have an expiry date. We don't know that date. We would have made that date before we came on earth with Bhagwan. But when we came here, because of all the attachments and everything that we would go through in life, we forgot. From the time you enter the world as a baby, you forget that deal that you made with Bhagwan. When you said to Bhagwan, I will worship you daily. I will perform your puja. I will do good deeds. All of these things we promised Bhagwan. And when we come to earth, what do? We forget all of that because we are so caught up with everything that life has to offer. So we forget all the promises we would have made for the years, for the time that we were with Bhagwan. But Bhagwan is saying here now that when your time comes, we have to go. Uncle Hans was with us on Sunday. He came with his usual jolly self, cracking jokes, making everybody laugh. Rajesh and I was speaking about him just last week. We were saying, you know, it has been so long we haven't seen Hans because of COVID-19 and so on. You know, he wasn't really coming out too much and we were not really going out anywhere. And we were saying that we had to make a day to meet him. I was fortunate that I met him on Sunday. Unfortunately, my brother Rajesh did not get that opportunity. And he is hurting too. We all are hurting because we didn't expect this. And I know the pain that Rajesh is going through because only last week we spoke. But I felt blessed that I was able to meet him on Sunday. And I did tell him that. I said, Rajesh and I was speaking and, you know, we plan to come by you and make a lime one day just to spend some time, go up on the hill and relax on top of the hill. And he said, yes, we'll have to do that one day. But little did we know that that was the end. We may be able to go up the hill, but he will not be with us. And that, my dear friends, is how life is. But we must always remember that Bhagavan Sri Krishna tells us that the soul simply passes over onto another body. Sri Krishna establishes the principles of transmigration. This transmigration is of the soul from one lifetime to another lifetime. It changes bodies from childhood to youth to maturity. The body changes, but the soul does not change. And we will all remember Uncle Hans for who he was. And as I started off saying, he was dedicated to his religion. He was dedicated to his scriptures. And we will continue to chant Bhagwan's name for him, in his name, in his memory. He loved the Bhagavad Gita. And that we will continue to do. So I just thought I'll just touch on these 3 verses of chapter 2 this evening, so that we will remind ourselves how life is and how we mustn't forget our loved ones when they leave us. We have to remember them and remember the good times. And Uncle Hans is one person we will surely surely, surely miss. Because when things seem to be down, once he is around, he lifts your spirits. He makes you laugh. He makes you enjoy whatever you are doing. And he was always very, very helpful. He never said no. And these are the good things that we must always remember. So my dear friends, with these few words, let me say, may his Atma rest in peace. May his Atma attain moksha with Bhagavan Sri Krishna. I pray that wherever that soul may be, that soul is at peace and is ready to go into the arms of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Prem se bolo Sri Krishna Bhagavan ki jai. Sitaram, and thank you again.
Thank you, Uncle David, for joining us tonight and bringing us our discourse. If you don't mind, can you do one bhajan for us? And then I'll ask my mom to do the other one, and then we will have our closing prayer. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Let me just pull up a bhajan here. Oh, this is one of the chants that I know that he would have loved. He loved to hear me sing this. So, of course, we can't have everybody's mic on at the same time, but I would like you all to join with me and sing along. Gopala, Radha Lola, Murali Lola, Nandalala. And I must say, Rajesh is next to me in the car here. He's actually driving. We are going by Cynthia's house. And whenever I have to wonder what to sing, Rajesh is always next to me to tell me what to sing. So Rajesh is singing with me. Gopala, Radha Lola, Murali Lola, Nandalala. Jai Murali Lola, Nandalala. Keshava Madhava Janadana, Nandalala. Vrindavana Bala, Nandalala. Vrindavana Bala, Murali Lola, Nandalala. Jaya Murali Lola, Nandalala. Gopala, Radha Lola, Murali Lola, Nandalala. Govinda Jai Gopala, Govinda Jai Gopala, Govinda Radhe Nandalala, Govinda Radhe Nandalala, Murali Lola, Nandalala, Jaya Murali Lola, Nandalala. Gopala, Radha Lola, Murali Lola, Nandalala. Jaya Murali Lola, Nandalala. Jaya Murali Lola, Nandalala. Jai Sitaram.
Sitaram again. I remember just a few weeks ago at the Mandir, Mr. B was actually singing, and we could have heard him from way up on the carpet. And we were wondering who was that person singing, because his voice was sounding so sweet. And then Joy had to go and tell him after the satsang was finished, Mr. B, we heard you singing. You need to come up on the carpet and sing. So we realized he had another talent that we were unaware of, a singer, singing sweetly. And I personally would have had many interactions with Mr. B, and they were all pleasant. He always made you laugh. He made you feel comfortable. He always was there to support. I remember when I became the president of the Mandir, he would have supported me throughout and still did up to the very end. I do appreciate that. And I will never forget when he stood by me, with me. Nothing was too much for him to do. And we will continue to remember him in this light. Very caring, loving, helpful, funny individual. Jai Krishna Hare, Shri Krishna Hare, Dukhiyon ko dukh dur kare. Jai 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 Krishna Hare, Jai Krishna Hare, Shri Krishna Hare, Dukhiyon ko dukh dur kare. Jai 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 Krishna Hare. जब चारों तरफ अंधियारा हो, आशा का दूर किनारा हो। जब चारों तरफ अंधियारा हो, आशा का दूर किनारा हो। और कोई न केवन हारा हो, फिर तू ही बेड़ा पार करो। जय 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 कृष्ण हरे, जय कृष्ण हरे, श्री कृष्ण हरे। दुखियों को दुख दूर करे। जय 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 कृष्ण हरे। तू चाहे तू सब कुछ कर दे, विष को भी अमृत कर दे। तू चाहे तू सब कुछ कर दे, विष को भी अमृत कर दे। पूर्ण कर दे सबकी आशा, पूर्ण कर दे सबकी आशा। जो भी तेरा ध्यान धरे, जो भी तेरा ध्यान धरे। जय 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 कृष्ण हरे, जय कृष्ण हरे, श्री कृष्ण हरे। दुखियों को दुख दूर करे। जय 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 कृष्ण हरे, जय 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 कृष्ण हरे, जय 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 कृष्ण हरे। Mr. B, you've come to the end of your race and you have done it well. I wish that you remain with Lord Krishna in his loving embrace, looking at his most beautiful face and his sweet countenance, and hope that you will be at peace. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. So now I'd like to pass over to Auntie Mala for our closing prayer.
Sitaram devotees, it has been a beautiful session. Mr. B would have loved all our singing and chanting on behalf of Lord Krishna in his name. So as we close today's session,
We remember him. We remember those who remain with us and who have to continue this journey. And as we continue these sessions, it will be to help us all to come to terms with the loss and to be able to continue to do what we have to do in order to attain moksha in life. So let us put our hands together today, close our eyes, and close this session off for tonight. Om Kayena Vacha Manasendriyeva Buddhatmanava Prakrit Swabhavam Karome Yatya Sakalam Parasme Narayanaeti Samarapayami. Om Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Bandhu Chasaka Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Sitaram.